What's up guys, welcome to our second channel's first video. I'm going to be showing you how to do a basic muzzle flash inside After Effects. All the work we do is inside After Effects. So let's start. So take your footage, put it on the composition button, and as you can see everything's set up already. Then what you want to do is you can immediately drop the muzzle flash down on top of your footage. And as you can see, the muzzle flash has a black background. So you get rid of that. Go to mode and hit screen. Screen is by far the best mode to get rid of a black background, I think. You can try other things, but I think it's definitely the best. Now what you want to do is go to the point in time of your video where it looks like he's shooting. So I'd say right about there. Position the muzzle flash on top and scale it down by pressing S on the keyboard. That's the biggest problem I see on YouTube, I think, is people make the muzzle flash way too big for the gun, and it makes it look really unrealistic. So make sure it's not too big, but you also want to make sure it's not too small. So after that, you want to make the muzzle flash 1 frame long. So to do that, I'm on a PC, hold Alt and press left bracket and then Alt right bracket. And as you can see, it easily makes it 1 frame long. You can also just drag it, but it's definitely the fastest way. Next, what you want to do is click the muzzle flash, hold Control, and press a D. And what that does is it duplicates the muzzle flash. So now you have 2. Then you want to click the bottom muzzle flash and go to Effect, Blur and Sharpen, and Gaussian Blur. And what Gaussian Blur will do is it'll create a haze around the first muzzle flash. So it'll almost act as like a light source, and it'll give off light. So I usually use 300, that's what I usually set it to. And as you can see, it makes a really nice haze around it, and it makes it look a lot more realistic. Then what you want to do is you can do your smoke puff. So go into your settings, bring down the smoke puff, and it's really long. The smoke puff is a lot longer than anything else in the composition. So to fix that, just to make it a little faster, go to time stretch, and I'm going to make it 50% faster. That's good. That's good enough. It doesn't have to be real short, but it'll work. Now when you shoot a gun, the smoke should almost be coming out of it already. So right about there, I'd say. You don't want to start the smoke right there. You want to start right about there. That's good. So trim that down, and then you have to rotate it to the point where the person is firing. So click R on the keyboard, rotate it, and right there. Looks good. And you can go to mode, screen, just like the muzzle flash. Line it up. I'm going to rotate it a little more. Right there. Scale it down a little. You don't want to make the muzzle or the smoke puff too big or too small, just like the muzzle flash, but you do want it to be a little bigger than the muzzle flash itself. So that looks pretty good already. Okay, now what you want to do is, as you can see, the smoke puff lasts a lot longer after he shoots. So to get rid of the smoke puff and kind of make it disappear and make the smoke dissipate a little, is click the smoke puff, press T for opacity, which enables you to allow it to disappear and reappear. So press the stopwatch, which makes a keyframe. Go a little bit farther down the footage to about the end and make the opacity slightly less. You don't have to go all the way. You could, but I'm just going to go to like about 60. And what that does is, as you can see, the smoke kind of dissipates into thin air like it would in real life. So that's pretty good. And now, once you've got that all set and done, you can see the smoke stays with the footage. It doesn't really look like it's in the actual scene. So to make the footage look like that, go to Tracker, Track Motion. Oops. Actually, you have to click the footage first, then go to Track Motion. And that brings up your track point. And what you want to do is put the track point on a place of high contrast, as you can see here with the white and the green. So right there is good. And then what you want to do is click Analyze. You can analyze forward or you can go by frame. I like to do frame because you can I press it over and over again and it goes frame by frame. I don't like to analyze because sometimes the tracker cannot get off the point that you want to track and it makes it a lot harder sometimes. So I like it this way so I can fix it if it does mess up, but that's just me, it's up to you. So I'm going to go all the way to the end, right about there, and then I'm going to go to Layer, New, Null Object, and that brings a null object down here. And what this is going to do is going to allow this information to be put onto the null object so the null object will stay with this object. That's kind of funny. But then what you want to do is go to Edit Target, make it the null, press OK, and then press Apply. X and Y, OK. So now, if you look here, you can see that the null object stays with that pole or whatever sticking out of the ground there. So that's really nice. Then take the muzzle, the smoke, and parent it to the null. You can also drag the little squiggle thing. But now when you go through it, the camera moves, but the smoke stays in place. So that's a lot nicer. Now, finally, if you want to make things even better and just put the icing on the cake, click your footage, duplicate it by pressing Control D, make the top one, change the mode to Add. It'll be really bright, but that'll only last for a second. Click the mask, the pen tool, and mask out the area that would brighten up if you were to shoot the gun. So I'm going to say the side of his body right here. Alright, so then that brightens up right there. Then click the layer, the bright layer, press MM to bring up the mask options, and feather it out so it's nice and hazy. Then, depending on the scene you're in, you don't want it to be too bright, so I'm going to take the opacity down just a little, about halfway, because he's already in daylight, so you don't want it to be too bright. Then you want to press the stopwatch for mask opacity. So right now it's at the possible brightest point because he's shooting. Now the frame before, he's not shooting, so you want to bring the opacity down to 0 because nothing's happening yet. So everything before the frame is 0, but then when he shoots, it lights up. And then what you want to do is go about 3 frames after and bring the opacity back down to 0. So if we look at this and play it back, see how it lights up on his body? That looks a lot nicer. So if we want to play it back all together, let's see here, it's loading.
Go. Go, go.
Looks
Go,
really
go.
nice.
Go, go.
And that's how you do a muzzle flash. So I hope you liked the first tutorial on our second channel. We're going to be putting a lot more on here and behind the scenes of our other videos. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment or message me. I'd be glad to answer them. Or if you'd like to see a specific tutorial on something or whatever you want, I'll see if I could do it and make a tutorial for that too. So don't forget to subscribe to our new channel and our main channel, Legitly Sketchy, and I'll see you guys later.